Super Saturday continues. We don't know which way to turn, which game to look at. For now, we're going to focus on the Trans-Tasman rivalry on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. And what momentum, what a finish. History being made with Trent Boult becoming the first New Zealander ever to take a hat-trick, the second hat-trick of this World Cup. And again, it's 49.3, 49.4 and 49.5. A little bit of deja vu there, but for Australia, just when they started rescuing things and get a halfway decent total on board, momentum with the Black Caps. In the studio, the two gentlemen, sorry, you've got an unfamiliar anchor in me. Tried to get the white shoes to be a little bit in GK territory, but just before I talk about the game, the reason why you see the My 11 Circle expert couch here, because GK had 260 as a prediction. It's the chair that wins, it's not the person. Minus 15, he's still in there. Minus the 2-run bonus whenever there's two anchors sitting. That's a rule you didn't really know about, so we stuck that in there.
This is like my Hindi class in class 43 plus 2, 45 pass, that kind of very shady.
Absolutely. 145 minus 143 pass. Anyway, the question about pass and fail is, have Australia passed at this stage for you?
Oh yeah, I think definitely. At 90 for 5, if you ask them if they take 243 at the end of 50 overs, they would have taken it with both hands. And I think all credit has to go to Khawaja and Carey for the way they batted. They really held that partnership together. That partnership really took the score to where it is. But Trent Boult in that last over, how good was he? How accurate? And that was amazing to watch.
We've seen some great hat tricks, and we keep thinking about Chetan Sharma and his celebration, which was far greater than Bolt's was. But those Yorkers, I mean, how do you get it right? It's like a machine.
Absolutely, he drills them, and it's amazing how well he's done it throughout. The way he's got that standard this thing. I'll shape it in the beginning, and I'll either get the outswing, I'll either get the edge of the left-hander, or I'll get the LB or the bolt of the right-hander, and then he'll come back and he'll bowl these amazing Yorkers. And to think, you have Mitch Starc involved in a Yorker, being bowled. And he's at the receiving end for once.
Yeah, that was nice. That was
talk about payback.
Personified. Yeah, that was just beautiful. Just getting a taste of his own medicine, what he dishes out to batsmen around the world. That's nice.
Right in the middle of it, Mitch Starc, Jason Behrendorff, and of course the fact that the first wicket of that sequence was someone who was batting so well, the best batsman of the innings, Usman Khawaja. So that just shows a top order batsman and then somebody who knows everything about bowling Yorkers. But in terms of that total, Usman Khawaja and Carey, showing why they're 5-time world champions when they discover that depth every time they're down.
More than that, Robin, showing why he's such a good analyst of the game, because he said today, Usman is the man. He's really crucial for them, and today, if Usman hadn't played that knock, they could have been 160, 170.
Yeah, I was saying that he would repose the faith that the Aussies are showing in him, and when the time came in a difficult situation, that was exactly what he did. He got in, he got a chance initially, but that didn't bother him too much. He I think recognized that it was his day when that chance went down, because Guppy takes some brilliant catches, and he did. I mean, actually, in fact, after that, he took a brilliant catch of Steve Smith at leg gully. I think that was a phenomenal catch, and he, I think, recognized that today was his day, and he wasn't going to let that go today, and that was exactly what he did. He only literally started taking chances maybe in the 46th, 47th over. Right up to then, he was really holding one end up and doing it brilliantly. And to stitch up the kind of a partnership with Carey, and especially when Carey was going at a run a ball, it's very natural for batsmen who have batted before that guy has come into bat, to start feeling like, hey, he's batting so well, but maybe I should start going as well. But he was very cognizant about the fact that today is my day. I need to hold one end up for my team, and that is what he did beautifully today.
Also, it probably symbolizes where Australia are at, because it's not just about the 5 World Championships or the 5 World Cups they have, but the fact that every time they're in a hole, and you think of that game against the West Indies, it's almost like you're just giving it to them, and with both bat and ball, you come back, you're 2 down, you're 3 down with nothing on the board, and then you discover that extra. It shows that you're the team to beat.
You're the team to beat, and Usman is exactly that. You will notice that if you see the big Australian innings, 320s, 330s, 350s, you won't find too many big Khawaja knocks. You will see him really coming on the days when they're 240s, 250s, 260s, because that's his role. His role is that if the big guns have not got going, I've got to make sure they have a fighting total. And that's what he's done so beautifully today. And I think Australia, but you said one thing, you're absolutely right. That Australia at 92 for 5 would have said 240 they'd take with open hands. But at the start of the game, would New Zealand have taken 243 with open hands?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. So they really give. I think that they're in with a chance to win this game. Australia have to really bowl well to defend this in-form New Zealand side. But you know, you have to give it to the strength, the mental strength of this Australian side, or all Australian sides actually. Really, they're so very mentally strong and switched on that they recognize moments in a game. They must have stitched up maybe 25-30 runs of that partnership between Khawaja and Carey, and that's when they must have realized, and this is the partnership that we really need to build on. You could see the desperation in Kane Williamson when he even changed his bowlers around to try and accommodate, because he suddenly lost the viciousness of a leg spinner and a left arm spinner against two left-handers, right? He brought himself on, he brought Grant home back again to see if they can get a breakthrough. They couldn't, because they knew that, and they were waiting for the left arm spinner and leg spinner to come into bowl. That's why they're slightly expensive today. If you know, they had another breakthrough in between, they wouldn't have been as expensive today.
Yeah, look at Santner. I mean, 22 in his 3 overs, and Ish Sodhi none for 35 coming into.
Who would say that if there are 3 spinners in this thing, Kane Williamson would be the best successful?
Yeah, would bowl the most overs.
And he got the breakthrough as well.
He did.
Not for the first time in this tournament. So he's obviously discovered something about that. And remember, we were talking about the first time that changes have been made in this tournament. They've gone pretty much unchanged throughout, and suddenly they say, okay, finally we'll tick those 2 boxes. Henry Nicholls will come in, Ish Sodhi will come in. And now, so far, Henry Nicholls hasn't been tested, but Ish Sodhi really hasn't contributed.
Well, I think it would be unfair to say he has
not contributed, but I'm saying he's...
But you know, when you're playing in Lords against 2 left-handers, you're bowling predominantly to 2 left-handers. You know, I think to stay under 6 runs and over is a pretty decent job. I think he'd be felt hard done by not bowling 10 overs, but I think that he wouldn't have thought it's a bad day. You know, he bowled pretty well. He in spite of bowling to 2 left-handers, he kept himself under 6 runs and over. The norm is, if you're bowling to a batsman's strength, then you know that if you're going for more than 6.5, you're going till 7 runs and over, you've done a good job. But so in that sense, he's actually done a great job today.
Now, we often talk about momentum, and I just want to get Robbie in this briefly on that. In a 50-over game, yes, there are times, I remember an India game where everything was going against, they were playing against the West Indies, and the West Indies looked out of it. Last ball, it was Fidel Edwards who hit a huge 6 to finish with, and they looked a different side just based on 1 ball. So while New Zealand, when they go into that dressing room with that hat-trick, it's already a decent total from their point of view. How much more will that matter?
But to be very honest, I think in this situation, in this scenario, given these 2 teams, their mental capacities and their skill capacities, I'd say New Zealand would have had the upper hand, the momentum at 90/5. Had this total gone on to be 240 or 250 for say 8, Australia would have had momentum, because they backed New Zealand out of the game. But the fact that he got a hat-trick towards the end makes it even Stevens again. So it makes it for a very evenly contested game, and I think that those 4 wickets in the last 10 overs were crucial for New Zealand to come back and have momentum again in the game.
Yeah, that's the progression. If you see 4, again, you're saying it's decent, but you would expect that those wickets in hand, 41 to 50, having made that platform, could have been a little higher.
Yeah,
exactly. That 5.5.
No, that 107-run stand was fantastic. The way they were batting at that point in time, the way they took the attack back to New Zealand, because we've seen so many teams in that case, you know, Sri Lanka being a case in point, batting themselves into a hole where they're just batting 2-3, and suddenly they're looking at a mountain towards the end. So they did very well out there. Given what they did out there, I thought New Zealand came back better. But remember one more thing, by that time they'd finished what they call their 4th bowler out.
Yeah.
So they basically had, then they could bring Lockie back, they could bring, you know, all their top bowlers back, and that made a difference again back to the end.
Yeah. And also, like, I think if you look at that last 10 overs where they lost 4 wickets for 51 runs, had it been a team India, they wouldn't have attacked in that 41st over. They would have attacked more closer to the 45th over, because they believe in their ability to get, say, 50, 60
in the last 5.
Last 5. Instead of pushing from that, you know, you tend to see that with Australia quite a lot, that they try to, you know, they hit that 5th gear a little too early. You know, and you feel like they've hit that nitro a little too early in the race, and they might run out of it in the end. And you've seen that happening with the Australian side a couple of times in this World Cup.
Yeah, well, as we said, Super Saturday, so we're keeping an eye on 2 games, and I think it's worth going and checking on what's happening between Afghanistan and Pakistan, because it's turning out to be a fascinating finish, a cliffhanger. With wicket number 6 having gone down for Pakistan, it means it's all for them to do. 163 for 6 since that scorecard was put in there. Babar Azam was solid while he was there. Imam gave them that start. Haris Sohail has been the find, but 27 of 57. Suddenly they look like they're being strangled.
Absolutely, and there's still some overs. Rashid has some overs left.
5 overs. 3 overs of Rashid and
Mujib has got some.
2 overs of Mujib. So they have to be going like Gulbadin Naib's bowling right now. They have to be going after him, because you know that you won't be, if you can get 6 runs in over or 5 runs in over to these other bowlers where you say you got 30 runs in 5 overs, you're going at 5 runs in over, then you still have another, what, they have 51 balls. So in 21 balls, you have to get 24 runs, 24 or 25 runs. You know, you should get those runs to the lesser number of runs you have to get against Mujib and Rashid is the way to go for Pakistan.
But you're sitting here calmly calculating, saying it. Are those two out there in the middle going to be?
I promise you, it's easier here than it is there. You know, sometimes you wonder like, hey, this and so much of clarity. It's impossible to get that kind of clarity of thought when you're out in the middle. You know, because there's so much happening. Just the crowd, the pressure, the bowler playing mind games with you, the fielders playing mind games with you, the scoreboard putting pressure on you. There's just too many things happening to actually have that kind of clarity of thought. So, but unless you get into your zone, a lot of people get into that zone and have that clarity of thought. And you know, Pakistan are hoping these to get into that zone, and you know, have clarity of thought. Otherwise, they have themselves to blame to go out.
Yes, it's Imad Wasim and Shadab who are batting out there as he used the words clarity of thought. A lovely boundary from Imad Wasim that will ease Pakistan tensions a little bit. But on the subject of tensions, on the subject of cross-border politics, we have got one of our favourites who's actually made a comeback. We couldn't find him for a long time, but guess who's back? His name is Mr. Jingonath. Let's find out what he's up to.
मिश्रा जी थोड़ा लेफ्ट से देखिए, हाँ राइट से, हाँ दिख रहा आपको? इंडिया इंग्लैंड में भी पाकिस्तान का एंगल है. ओके, लेट्स स्टार्ट.
क्या भारत और पाकिस्तान हो गए हैं एक? क्यों नहीं नजर आ रहा उनका प्यार हमारे लिए है फेक? इंग्लैंड को हराया तो बनी रहेगी पाकिस्तान की उम्मीद, पर नहीं बनना हमें. फ्रेंड इन नीड इज फ्रेंड इन डीड. फ्रेंडशिप बैंड नहीं, फ्रेंडशिप बैंड. ये ग्रीन हटाओ और रंग दे तू मोहे गेरुआ. फील्ड पर दिखी सबको सरफराज की अंगड़ाई. हमें बुलाया तक नहीं जब खा रहे थे पिज्जा, बर्गर और कढ़ाई. इंडिया वर्सेस इंग्लैंड. पाकिस्तान is want India to win the match. क्या उनका प्यार फेक है?
Why are you bringing Pakistan into it? It's India versus England.
नारंगी छीलने वाले चाचा. इंडिया भिड़ रहा है इंग्लैंड से, पाकिस्तान हमें दे रहा है फेक लव. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप? नहीं सर, आप प्लीज बताइए चाचा. नारंगी को क्या आप पाकिस्तानियों की आंख में डालना चाहेंगे ऐसे?
पाकिस्तान तो हमेशा झूठा प्यार दिखाता है. पाकिस्तान ने कब दिखाया है सच्चा प्यार?
That's right.
You're right.
मत करने दो उन्हें 92 को रिपीट. एक बार ही सही इंग्लैंड से मान लो डिफीट. क्या पाकिस्तान फाइनली इंडिया के अंडर सरेंडर हो रहा है?
Why are you talking about Pakistan?
सर से मत उतरने दो नफरत का भूत पाकिस्तान की. मत जाओ फील्ड पे, बना लो कोई भी बहाना. आज ही कर दो पाकिस्तान को रवाना.
It's England versus India. What's Pakistan got to do with it?
England versus India. What's Pakistan got to do with it? Well, quite a lot, I think.
Well, going by what they're playing, it won't matter tomorrow. It might just not matter tomorrow.
Yes, that is the big question.
Unfortunate, isn't it? And Pakistan would have.
Because the first box they need to take is to get over the line against the other neighbour, and then they can sit and cheer for whoever.
Yeah, I think you feel sad for the Pakistani people, and like you tend to feel like, because you know they're already talking about, oh, we're going to support India and we want India to win and all of that, but they haven't looked at tossing that first hurdle right now. You know, I think the Pakistan players would be feeling the pressure, not just the pressure of playing out there and performing and winning this game today, but even the pressure of the people. You know, that can also weigh down on you, right? So for me, I feel that It's a tough 10 overs for Pakistan, man.
When you started smiling, I thought you were still reacting to Jingo Nath.
I love Jingo Nath. That guy is hilarious.
What about his incomplete lines?
Oh, they were just, aren't they just like, sometimes they just right up there. They stop just when it has to stop.
Gautam, I was wondering how good your Hindi is about some of the stuff that you came back.
Oh,
you got all of those ones.
Yes, yes. Of course.
You all learned the right Hindi.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's the first thing you learn. Even when all our friends from overseas come, the first thing they're taught, particularly in an IPL dressing room, you ask any player from overseas, have you learnt anything? Yes, we can't quite share that right now. There's children around.
Yeah. Ask the New Zealanders, they'd happily just share it like, what do you know in Hindi? Dude, easy.
All right, let's talk about New Zealand, not with the words they've learned, but with what they've played today. They've absolutely outstanding. Now, what about this run chase? Because while Trent Bolt may have given a little bit of a dress rehearsal, Stark can actually bowl that, Behrendorff can actually bowl that, and you've got a newcomer in the front in Henry Nicholls with an out-of-form Martin Guptill. So they've got a few questions to be asked still.
Yeah, I think the only plus point they have is they can really play themselves in. They don't really need to look at the run rate in the beginning. The kind of batsman Guptill is, I mean, he will get shots, he will score anyway, he doesn't need to take unnecessary risk. It's not a 330, 340 that they need to go hard at the beginning to put up a 7-8. So that's a plus they have, and it's good for them because, you know, Munro is a bit of a dasher and he isn't there today. So they have two relatively more solid guys playing today, and that's not bad at all if you're chasing 240, 245.
But my question is, I know you said Munro, but can Guptill have that second or that lack of...
I think today is going to be Guptill's day. I think watch out for Guptill. I think he's going to come hard.
He said it about Khawaja.
He said it about
Guptill.
Khawaja.
I have a
too late to change my
I have a feeling that he'll come good today. I have a feeling that, his intent on the field was really good. Despite that hard, on television, it looks like an easy catch. That was a very hard catch to take. Despite that little hiccup, I think his intent on the field was just superb, and I feel you can sense from just looking at him that the energy is right up there, and I have a feeling he's going to do something special today.
But if you're suggesting that it's Guptill's day, are you going to say he does it as Joy suggests, plays out Stark and Behrendorff and works his way in, or is there only one way he plays?
No, I think he could do that way. He could go and just express himself on the first ball, but I think he'll be sensible about whatever he's going to do. He's going to approach it maturely, and he's going to make sure he does it for his team, because they've also reposed faith on him, right? So I have a feeling he's going to come good today.
Yeah, they couldn't get rid of both Stark and Munners, Colin Munro, but what about the record for Stark and Cummins against this particular opposition? We often talk about records in isolation, but look at it against the particular opposition, and this is Stark and Cummins against New Zealand in ODI cricket. And especially Stark 18 at 19.11, economy sensational, both under 6. And you've got to add to this a certain gentleman who's just played at Lords and bowled sensationally, Behrendorff. What a trio coming at them.
Well, it won't be an easy job to be playing against this Australian attack. They're a very, very formidable attack, and one that always is looking for wickets, right? Is looking for breakthroughs. They believe in getting wickets to win matches, not to contain teams. So you know that they're going to be aggressive, they're going to be looking for wickets, and the key against them would be to stitch partnerships and to counter-attack as well, because counter-attack is one of the way to thwart Australia, whether it's verbally, mentally, skillfully, in any of these aspects. Counter-attack works really well against Australia.
So who is the one you're going to counter-attack against? Because we said Stark and
you've got Stoinis and Maxwell who are going to route 10 between them. So that definitely, I think if they attack Nathan Lyon is a very dangerous bowler. He's one of the smartest bowlers I've ever seen in international cricket. They have to, and they'll have to play the natural game. Fortunately, it's not a big total. It's not that they need to put up some really big runs against somebody. If they can go at 4, 3.5, 4, 4.5 with the likes of Stark and Behrendorff, because see, Cummins will give you balls to hit. Cummins will give you runs. He'll take wickets, but he'll give you runs as well. He's not naturally a containing bowler.
So will Starkey.
Starkey,
because he looks to pitch the ball so far up, looks to pull that over length, that full length, the Yorker length, because he wants the swing and that late swing. He's going to give you a few balls to drive. So they can be ready for that as well. So counter attack, I think, is the way to go. Get off to a good start. 50 runs without no loss. Aussies are under pressure.
Well, I can tell you that we've got MG Martin Guptill as a favourite for Robin Uthappa, and I think The gentleman in the other seat is plumping for his initial sake, JB for JB. Yep, because he's picked up a 5 for the last time he played. Australia have the experience at Lords. New Zealand have the upper hand with the score that they're chasing, and of course that hat-trick to Trent Boult. Let's remind you, the first New Zealand ever to take a hat-trick. This has been My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We're going to come in the 15th over with Cricbuzz Combox.
What about predictions?
Oh, you want a prediction?
Yeah, let's predict, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Given that this was basically a bending of the rules, I think we should.
Absolutely.
I think we should.
New Zealand in the 46th. I'm going New Zealand.
New Zealand in the 43rd.
All right, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Australia. What does it matter? Jingo Nath's back. I can also say...
Which over?
Oh, Australia, no. Australia are going to win.
for you.
So now he's taking everything. He's
30 runs. 30 runs.
By 30 runs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Australia by 30 runs.
Okay.
There you go. So we've got 2 people on one side, 1 on the other. Actually, my number of runs don't matter because if Australia wins, I take it no matter what. So I'm going to keep the couch. Anyway, that's what we have. 15th over Cricbuzz Combox, and we'll wrap it all up at the end, well past midnight. That's pretty much a promise. My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.